Alright, hey guys, welcome to a brand new video, and welcome back to Jayden Talks. Today I'm talking about kids' TV shows. If you grew up between, like, the 90s to 2010, then you probably watched a lot of TV. And, you know, there's always these kids' channels and kids' TV shows. You always got PBS Kids, you got Nick Jr., Disney Jr., like, Sprout. All of these kid-centric channels. And it's weird because, you know, you actually know what qualifies as a kid show and what doesn't. Like, I used to watch normal Nickelodeon. Like, I remember I used to watch iCarly. I used to watch Sam and Cat. It was just on in the mornings. Power Rangers, SpongeBob. Like, those are kids' TV shows. But I also used to watch a lot of the more kiddie ones. Yeah, Dora the Explorer. Go Diego Go. Arthur. I mean, there was just so many different ones. And they all have these weird formats. For the longest time, I thought the show Arthur about the anthropomorphic aardvark was an adult show. I thought that show was an adult show. I just did. My reasoning, it dealt with, like, topics, and I think I remember there was one thing where this girl, like, threw up in a toilet, and I was just like, you can't show that on TV. Only adult shows show throwing up on TV. It's an adult show. You know, I didn't actually know Arthur was not an adult show until like 2 years ago. The one kid's show I thought was so boring was Franklin. You know, Franklin. Here's Franklin. Do 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 do. Yeah, that one. And to me, it was so. I feel like all I remember, it was like bland. It was just always like they were in like a swamp somewhere, and there was a turtle and a frog, and all they just did was just be boring and talk all day. So whenever Franklin was on, I was just like, God, I hate this. Just do something else, please. Like, I always make fun of Dora because I always want something bad to happen to her, because she'll always be standing in front of a boulder and she'll just be like, do you know where the boulder is? And there's just like a speeding boulder going down the hill. I always want her just to get hit because she's being dumb. All she has to do is turn around and it will be completely fine. Another show that I watched was Thomas the Train, but Thomas kind of creeped me out. I think it was because there were toys. Like they used figures to model, and I grew up in that original Thomas era. Or like I grew up like right in the middle of like original Thomas and new Thomas. So the original Thomas, you would see like they would play, you know, they had still images. You just like they'd only move their eyes. It was so creepy to me because they had a still face and they only did their eyes. It was so weird. And then out of nowhere one day, they just changed it to CGI, and they changed the intro to like there's 2, there's 4, there's 6, there's 8. But before it was just like dun. Another show that I watch, unfortunately, that I actually liked. I know people don't like Caillou, but I watched Caillou and I loved it. Caillou actually made me want to have a sister. Like because he had a sister, so I want a sister, and I was like, you know, it was so funny because I related to Caillou, like on a personal level. Like Caillou was just, he was a whiny brat, and I guess that's what I was, so I guess I related to him. But you know, watching Caillou now is almost unbearable, because the parents are so dumb. It's like Caillou will be freaking like doing something horrible. He'll like break a window. He'll rob a bank, and his parents will be, Caillou, don't do that. That's not very nice, Caillou. It's like nah. If that was my kid, I'd be like, Caillou, I'm going to kill you. Or something like that. Caillou, I'm putting you into the adoption home.
Listen, my children, and you shall hear.
There's also some shows people don't remember, like Lil Bill. In my opinion, Little Bill was the Black Caillou. You also had Yo Gabba Gabba. And I love Yo Gabba Gabba has to be, I remember the most songs from there. I remember the Blue Monster in one episode didn't want to try some food, and all her friends were like taunting her because she didn't want to try it. They're just like, try it, you'll like it. And they're just doing that dance. And they did that dance and so it's funny. In that show, they're like mascots. They're like mascot characters. So there are, and they look so stiff, right? Because they have this huge body shell, all the mascot characters, and they can only move their arms. It's like that's all they can move, and they can move their legs. So it's stiff. So when they're dancing, it's just like they have their arms like to their sides, and they're taunting the blue like person to try something, and she's like, try it, you don't like it. Try it, you don't like it. And it's like. It's like they're trying to dance, but it doesn't work. And the other thing weird about that show is that it's like, I like to think that it was just some guy playing with toys, cause I think it was DJ something. This guy he had a very minor role. He just did like the intro. I can't remember. He had like a tiny role. Like he'd just be the guy looking at the guy like, and it was so interesting to me because it was just like a tiny little box. It was like their toys. They're literally just toys that come to life with some huge band child just just freaking doing that. You also had the Electric Company, and I'm kind of alone in this one. I don't even know if anyone remembers the Electric Company because everyone remembers this version of the Electric Company, one from like the 70s with Morgan Freeman and Spider-Man. But I remember the 2000s Electric Company, the one that had like the graffiti and the rapping. Electric Company. Electric Company, Electric Company, like that one. There's always some guy, like a DJ in that show, who I had no clue like what he was saying. Like he would always talk in like raps. Like you'd have all like the girls being like singing like electric. And you have like some guy who's like sings like everybody. You like some like singer. And then there's just like some DJ, and you have no idea what he's saying. He goes, Chris. It's like, what are you saying? Like, make some sense here. Like, I don't know what you're saying. I think they just hired him to make noises on the show. He's like, that's all it was. That's all he said. And Freshman Band had that exact same thing. There was some other guy who I didn't know what he was saying. He'd just go, they all had this DJ, like, if you were in the 2000s, if you grew up in the 2000s, there's always some stupid DJ on a show. That's like some cool guy. He has some hair that's like swooshed down like this. And he always has like a hoodie, and he's like unzipped like that, and he's just doing that. Well, this is gonna be getting kind of long. I'll probably do a part 2. Who knows? But I hope you enjoyed the video. Today's Jayden Talks. I'll see if I can edit it. I filmed one yesterday that failed. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. I'll see you guys later. Bye!